tell us who you are.
Okay, I'm Mary Patricia Crumlish Trepper.
Okay.
And your date of birth?
All of the boys named Crumlish are my brothers. There were 6 of us, 6 brothers and 3 girls. I am the oldest one in the family. I'm 93 years old.
Wow.
And I'm still ticking.
Yeah.
And what is the date today?
The date today is July the 1st,
What year?
2017. Okay, that's a match.
That way, when we go back, we can figure out when we did this. And so what is, Daddy? What is this event today?
This is the gathering for a celebration of Uncle Fred's life. Your
Okay.
Uncle Fred, my brother.
Frederick Donovan Crumlish.
Date of birth?
And
1930, it was February the 27th.
Yes.
And Ann's was the 28th, almost the 29th.
Okay.
So
And what's yours? Weren't you 3 in line?
I was number 3, Patsy was first, Betty Jean was second, I'm the 3rd.
Okay.
And I'm
so
the
I
runt.
was born in 1927.
1927.
That makes me 90 years old, January 4, 1927.
Okay.
So I'm trying to catch up to Pat, but I don't think I'm going to make it.
Keep running and running.
No,
Don't-
I'm
Yeah.
always one step ahead.
That's good.
Okay, so after Dad comes Ann, right?
And Ann.
Yes.
And she was born in 19.
Well, I should have brought the list.
yeah, you're
Yeah.
stretching it here, girl.
1928.
Okay, and
She
then
was a year
after,
and 2 months younger than me.
Oh, well, then you could remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then came who?
Fred,
And
Fred.
1930.
Okay, so
Yeah.
he was
On the
number
27th.
5.
2
so,
years after Ann.
1927. Okay.
and then there were
My
a dozen more. No, there weren't really.
Cheaper by the dozen.
But
Then-
Mother kept having them. And you know,
At the drop of a hat.
at the drop of a hat, yeah.
She should never have picked up the hat.
Kept dropping it.
She never knew what hit her. But anyway,
Oh, boy.
she was a wonderful mother.
Yeah,
She
she
was
was
fabulous.
Wonderful, wonderful.
She was my
mother.
favorite mother.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah.
I bragged about her all the time
She was an awesome friend.
because
Me too.
she just, you know, she was very interested in child psychology. And her favorite newspaper column was one by a psychologist named Angelo Patri. And she guided herself by what he said about always believing in your children, love them, tell them you love them, stand by them. And that's what she did. So that's a wonderful mother to have.
Well,
She set a precedent.
here's the thing about Mother, too. She was such a mother, she made every one of us feel like we were the only one.
Yes.
We were
Think about
her
that.
favorite.
We were
Yeah.
all special
We
in
were
her
all her
eyes.
favorite. Yeah.
It was a wonderful feeling. And she was a den mother and taught my husband to be and being the den father of Cub Scouts. And then she joined the drama group at the women's group and got Best Supporting Actress for New Jersey in one of her plays.
What was it?
I think it was something about a home, but she...
Is that you, Lord? Fred, was that you?
She was an Irish maid.
Oh, really?
She played and she had the accent down pat.
Oh.
Because she had just come back from Ireland with me.
Ah.
She was as Irish as Mrs. Miley's cut. Oh.
And so she got the Best Supporting Actress award for all of South Jersey women's clubs.
Oh, that's
And she got Mother of the Year one year.
And she
Remember?
got Mother of the Year one year, too. I don't remember which year it was, but
yeah, she was awesome.
And she got short stories published in Reader's
that's
Digest.
right. Yes, she belonged to this First State Writers Group
Blue Hen.
and had one of her stories published in the little booklet that they had. So this is all about my grandmother.
Your grandmother.
I mean, my
Elizabeth.
no,
Your
my mother. My
Mary
mother.
Ann's grandmother.
Elizabeth.
Our mother.
Elizabeth Donovan Gibney Crumlish.
Can you tell us something about Granddaddy?
There's not-
Granddad,
Yes. My
Marion
granddad.
Eugene.
He was
Crumlish.
a wonderful person. When my mother met him, she thought he looked like Rudolph Valentino. And she said,
was handsome.
he's for me. And they got married, and they would dance together. He was a wonderful tango dancer.
Really?
Oh, he was, yes. But then they went on to have work for DuPont. He worked for DuPont. And he was the oldest, when he retired, the oldest American engineer in the country.
Really?
Time,
Instrument engineer.
An instrument engineer, and he worked on the product neoprene for DuPont.
And
And they
nylon
would
as
call
well.
him in the middle of the night if there was any problem, because he was the instrument man for the whole operation for neoprene.
So he was instrumental in neoprene.
He was instrumental in neoprene.
You're so bad.
But he was
Mary.
very well known around the country by different companies who serviced them with instruments. And he could take them apart and put them together again himself. And he was the expert on the instruments.
You know why he could do that?
Why?
Well, because when he first got a job with DuPont, he was 16 years old, and they put him on a jackhammer to break up concrete and stuff like that. And he saw this jitney running around the plant, and he said, I want to ride in that. So he got a ride in it, and ultimately he was driving the jitney. And they were picking up instruments and taking them back to the shop to get them fixed. And they'd say, okay, Gene, what's wrong with this? I don't know, I'll go back and find out. And then he'd go back and they'd say, okay, well, tell him not to do that anymore because this is what breaks them. So you know, he was back and forth. He was the liaison between people that used them and people that fixed them. And so ultimately he became the expert.
Yes.
And that's how he got into instrumentation
I didn't know
development.
that's how he got into it, but
Yeah,
I
he was
know
a-
that when he was a little boy, he took watches apart and put them together
I
again.
believe that.
Oh, that's where Tommy got it, huh?
Yeah, yeah. So that was an interesting way
And
to begin.
I have a watch that he left to me.
Did he?
It was made in 1820, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't remember
It's
that.
called
I
a
remember
plum watch or something like that.
that. Yeah.
And it opens and you can see the date inside.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So anyhow, when he was working with DuPont in the 30s, he had so many kids they couldn't lay him off. And they were, during the Depression.
Yes,
So,
I remember.
You remember that? And we used to put a quarter in the telephone so he could make a phone call.
No, it was a slug.
Well, it's a slug.
Yeah.
Right.
We lost our telephone service because we didn't pay the bill.
And
So
then,
DuPont decided that they had to get in touch with him. And they were tired of sending the police and the fire department up to get him, to take him back to the plant to work on an instrument. So they decided they would put a telephone in our living room for us. It was a pay phone.
That's very cool.
He got around it. He made slugs that matched the nickel. And then if we wanted to make a call, we had to put a slug in.
and we had a gas stove, and so of course that took quarters as well. Or slugs.
Serious?
I don't
Yeah.
remember that.
I was down the cellar.
You remember more things than
Yeah,
I
I
do.
do, because I was always down the cellar.
Why were you in the cellar?
It's
Because
where
he
we
had
kept the
some
wine.
neat stuff down there.
Oh.
One of them was a crock, a ceramic crock, real thick and heavy, full of mercury, liquid mercury that he used for instruments. And so I would pour some in my hand and go from hand to hand and watch that stuff.
Okay.
I never ate any.
What was Granddad's connection with Longwood Gardens?
Pardon?
What was Granddad's connection with Longwood Gardens? Because they just reopened it? The fountains at Longwood Gardens?
Oh, Longwood Gardens, yes. He was the instrument engineer who worked on the display of the Longwood Gardens fountains. And there was a stage, an outdoor stage, and instead of a curtain, they had fountains that came up with colored lights. And my father was the one who programmed the whole instrument panel to turn on the lights and to do the whole
I
thing.
didn't know that.
That is amazing.
That's
And
So-
great.
What was
Yeah.
it like to live with him at your house?
Well, a lot of fun.
Well, you have to go to Shorty's to find him.
That was the bar across the street.
Yeah,
Or send mutt for him.
yeah.
It was interesting.
The dog. The
It was
dog.
interesting because I remember when he put out the sprinkler and he invited all the neighborhood kids.
Oh,
And then one time we all made ice cream. And then I didn't think there was going to be enough just for our family. And he said, you've got to share it with everybody. All the little children that come, you have to share it with them. And that's the way he was.
Another neat thing about him, Mary Ann, was we had an upright piano, and he would sit down to the piano and he'd do a grand
Oh,
flourish,
yes.
and then he'd get up and walk away.
He just knew the first part. Da 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 da, and then he'd get up. And everybody'd say, "Oh, Gene, I didn't know you could play." Nothing. It's nothing.
that's so funny.
That
You
was,
know what that reminds me of is about the sharing stuff.
yeah.
You know, we had the first TV on the block.
Yeah.
I think Dad got it on as a demo or something
Yeah.
because it didn't last long. But the benches that we sat around the table with were moved into the living room, and the neighbors would come over.
Yeah.
Well, Mother would have fudge made out in the back and in the kitchen, and she would sneak us out there to the kitchen to have it because we couldn't possibly have it out. There wasn't enough for everybody that showed up to watch TV, the neighbors. So she would get us to come out and have a little spoonful of fudge and then go back like nothing ever happened because there wasn't enough to go around.
But we did
Well,
have a backyard circus once a year, and we had what we called acrobats who walked on a crow's prop on either side of a carton of some kind. We had a trapeze, just the rings, and Bet was the one who was good at that. And then we charged, everybody could come for 1 lemon or a penny. And because we made lemonade so that they could all be sharing the lemonade. And then on 4th of July, we all got dressed up with something like red, white, and blue, and we carried flags, and we marched around the yard. And that was just our 4th of July
You were a parade
celebration.
by yourselves.
Yes, and
There's a picture.
Dad would go out and buy fireworks, and we'd sit outside on these benches and watch, because we weren't allowed to handle them, but he would shoot
He
them
made
off.
the benches.
Those were the old days.
Serious? The benches in
Yeah,
the
he
dining
built-
room, Dad
he
made
built
them?
the benches.
Yes, yes.
Wow.
honey.
Bet.
Yes.
I never knew he was in the splinter group. You bet.
Move over, Skinny.
Yeah, I am.
No, 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 no.
I'm
Sit
gonna-
there. Sit
Is it
there.
okay if I hug my sister? Is it okay if I hug my sister?
It's okay. You're allowed.
Oh, I'm so glad to see you. Hi, Mary Ann.
They were serious. You're not really.
Hi, sweetie. I love you.
I love you more.
I love you more. No,
Yes, I do.
I love you more than you love me.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hi, Pat.
Sorry, I don't want to be in the picture. I'm just trying to.
Ooh,
Thank
You don't
you.
want to be
sorry
in the
we're
picture.
late.
You know, they're doing
Oh,
an
that's all
interview
right, we
thing.
heard.
You started all
It's
this, so you got to be in the middle of
Yeah,
it.
we couldn't help it, could we?
You're being videotaped.
Is Jim here? Jim, is he here?
Yeah.
No, here I
He went to the bathroom.
It's for,
I just
it's,
had it if you want one.
no,
thank
no,
you.
no, wait a
I've got
minute.
stuff for
Where'd you
you,
find
Jim.
that? Oh,
Well,
for
Jim
that.
should be here,
Needs it.
close
That's
by.
his. That's your dad's.
Is Jim here and he's sitting right
He
next
needs
to
it.
me?
That's not Jim, that's James Allen.
Oh, James Allen.
Yes.
J. Allen.
Grandmother
Crumlish.
had a brother, James Allen.
I brought
Snuffy.
these for you.
And a cousin
Did you
named
know
Alan
that?
Shane.
How'd you
were
get the name
6 of them.
Snuffy?
You
Snuffy
didn't.
was
I got that in the Navy.
Jim.
I didn't know that.
The what?
They used to call me that in the Navy.
Oh, because?
I don't know if it was Ralph Hassler or somebody started that.
Dirty dog.
Dirty dog.
Snuffy
Okay,
Smith.
can we get you to tell us who you are? And,
I don't really know. I'm so confused today.
About what, dear?
Would anybody else like to
No,
tell
he's
us?
he's he's doing that so
Just
they can
say,
go back.
my name
Yeah.
is, and
Jose O'Malley.
Jose Imanis. I'm BG. Pat's sister.
Okay.
Yeah.
Betty
Elizabeth
Jean.
Eugenia Crumlish.
Betty Jean
but
Crumlish,
officially, what is it?
Elizabeth Eugenia.
There you go.
named after her mother and her father.
Yes.
Our mother
It's
and
an
our father.
honor. I've got stuff for you
You got stuff for me?
in there.
Okay.
Are we still on?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
What's
Tell me
going
some
on?
good stuff.
Well,
Lots
they're
of-
recording, and you have to know what day it is to record. Well, they already
Is that the
established.
microphone?
You have to know what day it is to be able to sit here with us.
Honestly.
I always put my foot in
No,
my mouth.
he's recording for the records.
Oh,
Just
okay.
wanted to
Yeah.
report
Frank
that.
came out here to be with us so he can
And,
get some
well,
more history.
he is with us. Yes.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
wants,
that's right. And
he wants answers.
you want to? And what was the question?
Now, the one person is missing that we really love, we really wish he could be here, is Jerry, our
Yes.
brother Jerry.
And
He's-
what number was he in the list?
He was.
Larry,
He
Tommy,
was third
Jerry.
from the
Third
bottom.
from the bottom, yes.
Okay.
Larry, Tommy, Jerry, David, Fred, Jim.
No, Ann.
Got Larry
Ann
at,
and Jim.
before the end.
No.
Yeah,
Ann
A
was.
is
And-
always before
That's right.
J.
Ann, and then Jim,
and you.
and then me, and then Pat.
That's
So,
good, I'm glad you did that.
That's the sequence.
Yes.
Yes.
Don't,
And
you
there
can't
was,
change it.
and I understand there was a miscarriage somewhere between where and where.
You'll have to ask Pat. I don't know.
a what?
A miscarriage.
Yes, there was, and that was when Mother was in the hospital, and they had to ship all of us off to relatives. So, no, that's for you when you talk.
Okay.
Okay.
Pointing
But
at
anyway,
Okay.
we all went to different places. Betty Jean and I went to Baltimore. Do you remember that? With the Monahans, who were part of the clan. The Monahans were ones who married a Gephardt, and Gephardt was great-grandmother's maiden name. So Mary Gephardt was grandmother's niece who married a Monahan, in case you're interested in history.
I am.
But
We all are.
anyway, we went to live with Mary and Bill Monahan. Some of us went to one grandmother and some of us went to the other grandmother. And I don't remember, except I think
That
Jim
must have been.
went to visit the Gibneys. And they had a 3-story house. And he had a cup of water and he poured it all the way down, all 3 stories. And they weren't very happy. They were sorry they took Jim.
When was it I lived in?
But yeah, one of
all
I don't know who it was. It must have been Fred. I don't know.
It's Jim.
I
Jim.
lived there.
Jim is
with
always
them.
doing the wrong things.
Yeah.
I hear.
Yeah.
Until I picked up the slack.
Jim, because Jim's been telling his own story.
It varies.
I mean, it varies. After 50 years, you're allowed to embellish. You know that.
It can be anything embarrassing, or, you know.
Oh, the trip to going down to the corner to meet Dad.
Well, that's true.
Coming home from work, naked.
Naked.
Ann and I did that. We had just
And
gotten
there
a
was a
bath.
bus that came from the plant
Ann and I, yeah.
to deliver the people to Carly's
Well, we
Point.
didn't know.
Came right by our street.
No, but she
was
would
Jim
2 years
standing
old.
on the corner with no clothes on,
She knows.
and all the guys in the bus leaning out and saying, "Ah, is that your child? That your kid, Jim?" I mean,
I never
Eugene.
saw him before in my life.
And he's
And
he
Dad
was
said,
so mad.
what was his response? Dad's response.
I don't remember.
doesn't know him.
He didn't want to admit that was his child.
Oh, I don't know
Two
him.
of us.
I never
Ann and me.
heard of him. He's
Ann
just
and I
a
had just
neighborhood.
gotten a bath. And so we were both down there.
Jim
I don't
was
know
good
who
at
was the
taking
leader.
his clothes off.
Yeah.
When I would walk down the street with some of my friends, and we'd look over at the alley, and there would be Jim, and there would be a pile of clothes on the sidewalk, and I would say to my friends, "Let's go the other way," because I knew whose clothes they were.
And some things never change, you know.
They don't. Time marches on, but we don't.
He's had
Oh
that
my
problem
God.
ever since.
So that's where it started. Sometimes you get the bear and sometimes you get bear.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So
So where did y'all go to school?
Everywhere.
Locally, in the Green School, and in the
Lafayette.
Green School was from 1st to 3rd grade,
But there was a kindergarten.
and there was a kindergarten at the
Yes.
Presbyterian Church.
Yes. Hey, we got
Now,
that.
when I was growing
I
up-
got in trouble because I picked up a penny off a desk or something, and I brought it home and showed Mother, and she said, "Oh, Sonny Jim, you have to take that back. That's not yours." So I, very embarrassed.
One penny.
One penny.
One penny.
But I took it back, and the teacher was very happy. Thank you very much.
we're not.
See, that would have gotten you into the circus in the backyard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Oh my.
I want to hear the story about the phone, the telephone.
About the
About
we
the
did.
tele- You told that already? Oh, yes.
And what was the phone number?
Okay.
The oldest phone number I remember is 177R.
I have no idea.
I never called myself.
I never did either.
And that was, and you would pick it up and it would be a party line.
Yeah.
And you had to wait till the other person was done.
Yeah.
We'd always get chewed out for staying on too long.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it was still the time when you picked it up and the operator would answer.
Number
King
please.
Pennington's mother was an operator. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So she,
Mary Ann has a question.
Who's this gentleman here?
That's Frank
That's
Donovan.
Donovan. He is my mother's
mothers.
progeny.
Okay.
In other words, there were 3 Donovans who came across from Ireland to London to America.
Uncle Johnny.
Uncle Johnny
You're Fred's son?
and Frederick.
Fred
Frederick
Donovan.
didn't
Fred
come.
Donovan.
He died over
Veronica.
there, I think. And Miriam. No, not Miriam.
Miriam
I'm sorry.
was your
the
aunt,
other.
wasn't she? It
Yes.
was Fred's sister.
Raymond and Fred. And Fred is this Frank's,
Father.
no,
That's right.
grandfather.
No,
No.
Ray is my
Fred-
uncle,
Who's your uncle?
Raymond.
Oh, yes.
Raymond.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
That makes
John
sense.
was my grandfather,
Okay.
and
Okay.
Mary was my grandmother.
Yeah.
And John was
Aunt Mo,
Annie
right?
Donovan's.
Sorry?
Aunt Mo. That's what we used to call her. Aunt Mo.
That was
Aunt-
Johnny's
I used to
sister.
call her grandmother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yes, of course you
That was
did.
John's wife.
Yes.
Yes.
Uncle
Mo.
Johnny,
That's right.
who was the founder of the clan that came over for Donovan's,
Come here, sweetheart.
had a sister, Annie, who married
Tells my
James
buddy.
B. Gibney. And Gibney
Been a good
was
kid.
our
Hey,
grandfather.
how's the poison ivy? It's good. Oh, good. Oh, it's getting better.
Hey, Dustin.
So,
You're in trouble, Dustin.
Isn't it cute?
Do you have any questions about your family?
Both of them.
Mm, no,
I don't know enough to ask, but no.
So what else do you
I
want
was
to
when I
know?
was young. I remember going to the Gibney's home, the Crumlish's home, of course all the Donovans, and on my mom's side the Ryans. But when probably by the time I grew up and went to Salesianum, we kind of pulled, or I did anyway, kind of pulled away because I was working when I wasn't in school and that kind of thing. And only during funerals and weddings did I really get to see these people again. But I know of the names. But if they were sitting here right now, I wouldn't know them. And I feel kind of sad about that because it was, I guess, my first 12, 15 years of life. We had associations with these people, but after that we didn't. And thanks to Beth over here,
You're reconnecting.
Yeah, for the Donovans.
And
Can't
she's
get away now.
can't get away, and
Yeah.
she's responsible for this, you know.
Well, I just feel like
Good
it's
for you.
wonderful that we have another relative that
Yeah.
we didn't know about.
Yeah.
I
And
didn't
I
know
love
about
that.
any of you folks.
Now you know.
Just the names of the.
Yeah, well, now you know, and there's
What's my
no
name,
excuse.
You're on the list, buddy.
We're on the list. Got a little list.
As dumb as I look.
You look Irish to me.
I've been accused of that, yes.
Yeah,
How
Donovan.
about that? No blue eyes, no black hair. I'll bet your hair used to be black.
It's platinum blonde now.
Is that what you call it?
And I didn't have to pay to get it either.
Nor I, but I used to have black hair.
So did I.
No, I didn't have black. I
Wasn't
had
black,
I
it
used
was
to have
dark
black
brown.
hair. Well, it's so dark brown it was almost black. So I just-
Her mother, Elizabeth Gibney Crumlish, had red hair, blue eyes.
Yeah.
What did you have?
I was like everybody else, dark hair. The only one that had red hair, blue eyes was Jerry.
Jerry, yes.
Okay. And so, what color eyes do you have? Blue?
I never look at them. Oh, they're brown.
Everybody's got brown
I got blue eyes.
Dad's got blue eyes.
Oh, you
That's
do? That's
right.
right.
Jim has blue
Wow,
eyes.
you're like
David
half and
had blue
half.
eyes.
Oh,
David had the most beautiful
Yeah.
blue
Raised up
eyes.
today, right?
They were piercing blue eyes. They were just,
yeah,
they were beautiful.
they were.
He was a handsome kid.
He was.
Yeah.
And
Somebody
I
tell me
was.
what they can remember about David.
Yeah, we want to hear about David.
Wow.
Okay.
I
Pat,
can
you're on.
tell you,
We have to
I
talk
saw
about
him.
David.
Okay, one at a
David.
time.
Wow.
Okay,
Start
was-
at this end.
David was born,
Yeah.
and
He was sort of a misfit growing up.
he was very slow, and you know, Dad had a problem with that because everybody else was kind of HD or what, high definition,
Yeah.
88 or ADD
He was
or
high
whatever.
definition, yeah.
High definition is a good
But
word.
David was a beautiful, beautiful guy.
Oh, he was.
And
He was a good guy.
Oh my gosh.
he was,
He was too good.
He
yeah.
was one
Anyhow,
of the innocents in this world.
very innocent.
Yeah.
Very
innocent
innocent.
guy.
And
But he
he
was
died
slow,
tragically.
and that was a problem for him because.
And I think the world was too much for David because
Yeah, I
he
think
was
so.
a very
Slow.
innocent soul and very naive.
He wanted to become a brother in the up in what was the place where you
A
went? for-
monastery?
Yes, in a monastery.
Oh.
Monastery.
But what
Yeah.
happened?
Yeah. I don't know why.
I don't think they took him.
The
because he
Norbit,
he
Norbit
Did they take
brothers.
him? Yeah.
No.
But that didn't last because he joined the army, and when he joined the army, I was in the Navy at the time, and I was on the FDR, the aircraft carrier,
Thought it was the
Franklin D.
forester.
Roosevelt.
Thought it was the
Later.
forester.
That's later.
No, this was, well,
Early.
maybe it was.
FDR was first.
FDR,
Yeah.
Because you were a kid.
because David was in the army and Tommy was going to be in the army soon after that. So I went up to St. Moritz, where I met David. We both got together in St. Moritz in Switzerland. And you know, it's kind of vague what happened after that, but David was always sending things home.
Yeah.
And then after he got out of the army, and I was married to.
Mary.
I was on the Tarawa, USS Tarawa. That's what it was in the early '50s. They called me back in the Navy out of college. And anyhow, after that, I got married to Mary Ann's mother, Mary Stewart Ramona Campbell, and when she died about 3 years later, that's when I was sent, or I actually took a job in Columbus, Ohio, and David came out to meet me.
Yeah, about that.
And I remember he was so generous with everything he had, but he did buy himself a nice suit, and then I went with him to one of the big department stores, and he bought a whole set of Chinaware for Mother.
I remember that.
I remember that.
Remember that?
Yes, I do.
Oh, absolutely.
And
She was not happy
why?
because he had no business doing that. He went in debt to do it.
Yeah,
That's
he didn't
right.
have any money. He didn't know how
But-
to use money.
No, he was not financially secure.
He came after Uncle Jerry?
Uh,
He was older,
no,
just older than Jerry.
Okay, so he came after Ann.
after
Before-
Fred.
After
After
Fred.
Fred.
After
And
Fred.
what was the period of time between Uncle Fred and Uncle David? Because I'm wondering if there was just not enough time for body.
2 years apart, all the
Oh, really?
birthdays.
Most
Just
of
about.
Amazing.
Yeah,
That's
most all.
awesome.
Yeah.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10.
Awesome.
So is this a microphone, Mark?
Just
Yeah.
well, when you're speaking, so your sister can hear.
Oh,
Wonderful.
And then Ann was in there too. So anyway,
I remember we were talking about David, and I never understood him.
No.
They were using Fred's tape recorder. He had the reel-to-reel tape recorder,
oh,
and they busted it. And then they stole the money from Jerry and Tommy,
oh,
who were like newspaper money and whatever they were
Yeah.
selling or doing,
Nice, nice
and then
people.
disappeared. Yeah, and that was the kind of stuff that would happen to David.
well, then at one time, he ran away from home because he was trying to find himself and he was very upset. And he just had a psychiatric problem. He was psychologically depressed. And anyway, he ran away from home and he had no place to stay. And so he was a vagrant in this town. I don't even remember where, but the police called my
In
mother.
Maryland.
Where was it?
In Maryland.
In Maryland? Okay. And they called and said that David was in jail because he had no place to stay and they were putting him up there for the night. And she would wire money to get him to come home. And so he had been in the Air Force and he had an Air Force wonderful sheepline jacket, leather jacket, the official one. And when he was in jail, there was a vagrant as his roommate for that overnight, and the guy was shivering. David took off this wonderful jacket and gave it to this guy.
Oh.
And that's the way David was. Generous to a fault because he didn't understand the dynamics of what he was doing. And he finally had a breakdown when he was the radio operator out in Colorado.
Arizona, I think.
I thought it was Colorado.
It could-
Wherever it was, anyway. And that's when he was put in a hospital for a while.
How did he get that job? Does anybody know?
What, watching the screen?
Is that what he did?
Yeah.
Video of it?
Yeah, it
It,
was.
just, it wasn't in the service.
Yeah.
And I think at that point was when he went to Chicago. And because Jack Gibney also was
Ohio.
instrumental in
That's
getting
right,
him
that's
government assistance
yeah.
because he was essentially a veteran. And so that was how it all happened.
Did
But
he-
Who was Jack Gibney?
Jack Gibney,
Our mother's
half-brother,
half-brother, yeah.
Her second brother's son.
from her stepmother, yes.
Yes,
Her mother died when she was 12 years old.
10.
And so
She
the
was
widow
10
next
years
door had 3 children. And Mark Donahue, his son became a famous
Race
race
car
driver,
driver.
Indy 500.
Yeah.
And Tom Donahue, who was an
Architect.
He
architect.
was an architect, that's right.
And Elizabeth Donahue,
And we called her Wizzy.
we called her Wizzy because there were two Elizabeths in the same family when my grandfather married this widow next door because his wife had died when she was in her 40s. and she had kidney disease.
Was that what it was?
And they called it
Yes,
Bright's
Bright's
disease, which
Okay.
is like kidney failure.
Yeah.
Yes.
So then
Is that what it is?
there were 6 children altogether, and then my grandfather and step-grandmother had 2 more, Jack
And
and
Bob.
Bob. Bob was a physicist at Los Alamos. Jack was in the publishing business, and he was very instrumental in the books that were printed out for schools. And Jack is the one who lived in
Granville,
Granville, Illinois,
That's
and
right.
that's
Ohio,
where
Ohio.
Jim
Ohio.
ended. Yeah.
Granville.
'Cause I went
And
to
then
see
David
him.
came home, and he floundered around, and when he was 33 years old, he said to Mother one day, "Mother, Christ died when he was 33."
And he was 33
and
when he
I
said
am
that.
33. And Mother said, "Well, I don't know what she said, but she was all upset about it." And he went out without anything. He just went out, took a bus, and went to Bel Air, Maryland. I think he's got a little work at a barber shop, but he
It was a
found
gun shop.
he found the gun shop,
Yeah.
in Bel Air, Maryland. And he found one of the guns, and he took it out in the alley, and he killed himself. So it was very, very sad, because here's an innocent young man who really had trouble coping with the world as it was at that time. Would even be worse today for
He was
him.
very religious.
And he was very
Yeah.
religious, and he was buried in Arlington Cemetery with full honors.
Yeah, I've been there.
So, yeah.
Well, you
Did I
don't
Yes.
miss
wanna-
it? Did I miss it, or did we talk about how he served in the military?
He was in the army and the infantry.
Did he see
But didn't
combat?
No,
No.
Didn't he join another service too, like the Navy? I think
I,
he's
I don't think there's anything to
discharged
do with the
from one.
service that was
And
his
he
issue.
joined another.
Yeah,
I think he
except
tried to be in the Navy. for a
Not being
while.
able to
like
deal
me.
with other people.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if somebody swore around him, it really upset him. I remember he worked at the Pennsville Deepwater Diner as a dishwasher, and the guys were real foul-mouthed that worked there, and he'd come home, he was so disgusted, and I remember he'd lather up his face and his hands with Noxema and cleanse himself.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was so
Sounds like
upset.
he might have been bipolar or something.
Sure.
He was.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, that's for sure. That's
no,
a
he
given.
had things with him that
But
they
we didn't know
understand.
at that time
Yeah, we'd have no
what was
idea.
wrong. But he used to say to me when we'd all try to get home for a little get-together for Mother and Dad, and he'd be washing dishes at the sink after dinner, and I was out there with him in the kitchen, and he'd say, "Bet, I don't understand it. Why does everybody talk about me? Why are they all, everybody's saying,
Paranoia.
yeah, they're whispering about me, they're talking about me." I said, "Listen, let me tell you something. Everybody is so darn busy with their own lives and how wonderful they are. They don't have time to look at anybody else and say, 'Oh, look at him.' They're too busy." I said, "I wouldn't even pay any attention to it, Dave." So he thought that was okay. Didn't worry about it.
The other thing that amazed me about him was, I remember driving in a car with him, and things are kind of like wacky. We're in the car, he's driving, Mother's in the car, and I can't remember where we were going. But when he comes to a curve, he would speed up because somebody said, "Don't put your brakes on as you're going around a curve."
Oh my gosh.
You know, he would do stuff like that. And then he would start talking about how many gallons of water goes over Niagara Falls per minute, those kinds of things.
Yeah.
Be
You know,
obsessed.
He
yeah.
could have been a savant, you know.
That's
He had
possible.
beautiful handwriting, which is
Yeah.
unusual.
And to look at him, he was one handsome
He
young
was,
man.
yes,
Beautiful
he
guy.
was.
Obsessive
So-
compulsive, maybe?
All those things. Everything.
I mean, well, nothing we knew.
Yeah.
No, we were so
Ignorant.
innocent ourselves.
And boy, you talk about somebody that couldn't get it was Dad.
That's right.
It just blew Dad away. I mean, Dad was nice to him.
Yeah, but he
As far as
couldn't
I know.
handle it.
He
How
couldn't.
did your mother handle it?
She was in denial.
Yeah.
all along. She was
There was
in
no
denial.
answer anyway, so.
There wasn't an answer then.
No, but I'll tell you, when he went to Catholic school, high school, no, could have been, it was grammar school.
Grammar school.
He never got to high school, I don't think. The nuns were very hard on him and slapped him. And when he mentioned that to Mother, she was livid. We're taking you out of that school right away. That is unforgivable. So that's what happened. He didn't go there anymore.
No.
Yeah.
I would have confronted the nuns.
Yeah.
But see, they didn't know either.
No, they didn't know either.
But there's no excuse.
She wanted none of that.
Mom's getting kind of red in the face.
After Betty Jean, he was my other guardian angel. He really looked after me. When I was punished and had to go to the room without dinner, he would sneak up apples and bananas and stuff like that to me. in
Why
the
would you
bedroom.
go without dinner?
Because he was.
I was bad. I mean, it happened once.
No.
Once you were bad. Just
And,
I wanted that to
and
come out.
Jerry would take me everywhere, and I was such a pain in the butt. That's why they call me Gremlin. His buddies. This is a true story. His buddies, he was going off to go play baseball with him, so I tagged along, and the guys go, "Larry can't come. We're not going."
Well, they said that to you a lot.
Yeah, right. Oh, that was a pain. So anyway, I go anyway, and Jerry says, "Come on, Larry, you can't, because we're going to go play baseball, and nobody wants you there." So I follow him anyway to the baseball field on the other side of Shell
You
Road.
did, honey.
And of course I did. And so that got my Irish up. And so I'm standing next to first base, and one of the guys hits the ball and goes across first base. I spit on him.
Oh!
And then it's like, Larry. So then somebody else up the bat, and I'm about to do my duty again, and the ball comes right into my eye.
Oh, Larry.
That was a hard
And
one.
it was a hard ball, yeah.
Yeah.
Hit me right in the eye,
Oh.
and it started bleeding, and Jerry had to carry me home. He had blood all over his shoulder.
Oh my gosh.
But that didn't stop you.
That doesn't
Yeah.
stop.
That didn't change a bit.
No,
No.
that's
And he liked
same
being
guy.
called
That's-
the gremlin.
an
Oh, yeah.
experience,
He
not a
likes
life lesson.
One of them.
Yeah, but Jerry was great. My first dance date, he got a car, it took me to pick up the date, drove us to the YMCA for the dance, and then picked us up afterwards and brought us home.
Wonderful.
Jerry was awesome. I mean, he really was an incredibly good brother.
I feel that way too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ann and I
the best of the
taught,
best.
taught Jerry and Fred how to dance. In case we didn't have a date for the Saturday night dance,
That's a great idea.
we had dates with Jerry and Fred, and they could be our escorts, and we couldn't have been
I used
prouder.
to take you to the dance on Wednesday nights. And
Oh, that Wednesday night one,
and
that was the
also
recordings.
on Saturday nights when Pat was singing with Ken
When I was
Jennings
singing,
Orchestra.
yeah.
I want to sing
I
that
sang
song
with the
for you,
band
too.
for a short time.
Did you?
Yeah.
The dance band.
Ken
dance
Jennings
band.
band.
Had Saturday night dances.
Is you
And they had a whole orchestra called Ken Jenny and the Penguins.
I
didn't know
They
they
were all
were
dressed up
penguins.
like penguins.
Yeah, we danced a lot.
And I was the singer for a while.
Yeah.
Can you all sing a song?
Then I met Ed.
Would y'all sing a song for us?
I'll sing that first song because you may remember this.
Well, sing it now.
See, I don't know if Ken Janney wrote this song or not, but little did I know when I met you, I would learn to worship you so.
Get on the same key,
Okay.
you guys.
Little did I know when I met you, I would learn to worship you so. Thought I'd kiss and then forget you.
Little did I know.
Little did I dream
your caresses meant more than a passing hello. Now my foolish heart confesses, little did I know. April in the moonlight, the thrill of a June night, those bicycle rides with you. Christmas and Thanksgiving, the rapture of living, are things that I never knew. You were like a star far above me, I was just a mortal below. Little did I dream you loved me.
Little did I know. Oh, we knew that song very well. That was
We did.
Pat and Ed's song. That was
I
their
know.
song.
Oh, really?
That was that one and Something to Remember You By. That was another
Let's
one.
hear it.
Give me something.
Don't start
So-
so high.
Let her start.
Okay, go ahead,
Give me
Pat.
something to remember you by.
When you are far
away from me,
a little something saying love
cannot die.
no matter where you chance to be. So I'll pray for you and I'll pray for
Night and day for you.
I
It
will
will see me through like a charm till you're returning. Oh, give me something to remember you by when you are far away from me.
And what year was it
You
all
wouldn't
sang
believe
that?
I sing bass.
19. I love those. 1950.
No, it was much in the 40s.
In the 40s.
Oh,
Early
sure.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
sure.
We were done in the 50s.
like
We were all done.
1940.
It was over.
About 1942 or
Will I
something like
ever
that.
find a girl in my mind, the one who is my ideal? Maybe she's a dream, and yet she might be just
around the corner,
waiting for me.
Yeah.
Will I recognize the light in her eyes that no other eyes reveal? Or will I pass her by and never even know
that she is my
ideal? I like
Couldn't be crummier.
That's good, Larry.
And well, I have to have a request from my sisters, the Isle of Capri. I mean, you can't get together and not
two
sing
of
it.
you. Two of you.
Grandmother. Grandmother's the one.
Oh yeah.
Okay, but you do the honors. I'll join in.
Okay, but I have to think how it goes because
Was on-
grandmother died a long time
I'm on
ago.
the Isle of Capri.
I know.
I mean, you guys have sung it 18 gazillion times.
But you forget it after the person died.
Forget what?
No, you don't.
Requested it.
Forget what?
I sang it for Jackie the other day.
Oh, did you really?
Our friend who was blind, and she was a home invasion and was attacked, and she was a beautiful, wonderful person. So now she's blind, and we go to visit her, and she calls me the leprechaun. So she always wants me to sing, and
But
that
she
was
can't
one
see
of the
you.
songs we sang.
Okay. Was on the Isle of Capri
that I met her
Pat knows all the words.
beneath the shade of an old walnut tree. Oh, I can still see the flowers blooming round her, where we met on the Isle of Capri. She was as sweet as a rose at the dawning, but somehow fate hadn't meant her for me. And though I sailed with the tide in the morning, still my heart's on the Isle of Capri. Summertime was nearly over, blue Italian skies above. I said, lady, I'm a rover, can't you spare a sweet word of love? She whispered softly, it's best not to linger.
You go through the motions.
And as I kissed her hand, I could see she wore a plain golden ring on her finger. 'Twas goodbye on the Isle of Capri.
Now don't
Yes.
forget that we sang that, and don't ask again. Because grandmother, after we sang it, she'd say, when are you going to sing Isle of Capri? Every time.
That was just a
So-
so, she wanted to hear it twice.
Anyway, you
Wow.
want to hear
Another
more
one of
about
those?
Jerry?
Got another one.
Yeah, what do you got about Jerry?
Jerry was the sweetest little guy that I ever knew. Now, you were too, Larry. You were too, because...
There was nothing sweet about me from what I
Yes, you
told.
were.
No way.
Not
But
Larry,
Jerry,
that's somebody else.
actually, Jerry and Larry were Ed's two favorites.
And not Jim?
Because,
I was always out of town.
Yeah,
Jim
when,
was
when,
already
when
grown.
Ed first met me, he didn't have a big family, only one brother, and his best friend had 9 children. And so, I mean, his best friend's family. And he always loved to come to our house because he was just enamored of a big family. And he fell in love, especially with Larry. And when we were engaged to be married, he said, you know, when we get married, I hope we have a little boy like Larry.
Oh, boy, you talk about a guy who's really
Another
delusional.
But Jerry was also very happy about the Marines who would come to visit us during World War II. We belonged to the GSO. It was like the USO.
But it was
And
Girls Service Organization.
And we would entertain the troops and sing and dance and talk to them and then come home. And they always managed to get our telephone number.
How did that happen?
I don't know. But then they would call.
177R?
And they even sent me a telegram one time. We're coming, my buddy and I are coming on the weekend. We'd love to see you. And I'd tell Dad, and he'd say, well, don't let them take you out to dinner. I'm making a roast beef.
And he always
And
made
he
the
did.
best dinner.
And these
Oh.
soldiers and Marines were so, but Jerry fell in love with a Marine uniform.
Thank you.
So on Halloween, we went up to Philadelphia and we bought a Marine uniform for a little boy. And we put him against a pillar and took a picture of
At the
him.
gas station.
What?
The gas station across the street.
The gas station across the street,
Texaco.
but there was a nice blank
Yeah, that's
wall.
right.
And Jerry stood at attention in
I have
this
that
little
photograph.
Marine
You do?
uniform.
Yes.
I
He
haven't
was
seen it.
so sweet, and he was so thrilled to have a Marine uniform.
Yep.
So that was
That
Jerry.
was cute.
I
That
must
was
have been
real
in the
cute.
Navy at the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you see
Was
it?
I in the Navy?
Well, I have to say, when
Oh, I think you
Jim
were.
was
Yes.
out serving the country and stuff
Yes,
frequently as I was growing up, so I didn't really know Jim that well.
yeah.
But whenever we had our Christmas pictures taken and everybody's there, Jim's picture was on the wall
That's
behind
right.
us, so that every one of her kids would be there.
Missing in action.
In the Navy
Yeah.
uniform.
Yeah.
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 What a guy.
Yeah.
So
What a guy.
What a guy.
So Jerry grew up to be a very wonderful young man,
Oh,
Never has
absolutely.
changed. He's
and
always
he never.
fabulous.
And, his favorite expression when you say "How are you?" was "Couldn't be better. Couldn't be better."
and he's
and
not
it's-
better. He's
And he
worse.
wasn't.
No, he always says to me, "How you feeling, Jerry?" And he'd go, "Old and green and wrinkled, like $1,000,000, old, green and wrinkled." Yeah.
So Jerry was a very wonderful brother.
I heard an interesting
Yeah.
story from Jerry while we were over there Thursday that I never knew. When he and Carol were going to get married, Jerry got cold feet.
Yes, he got cold feet more than once.
Yeah, and so he delayed it,
Yeah.
delayed action. But Carol moved out of her apartment and moved in with Mother and Jerry.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, for like 2 weeks.
I didn't know that.
So that kind of forced the issue. And you should hear her tell it because she laughs. She thinks that's so funny.
She was determined. She
Yeah,
was
she
determined.
wasn't gonna let him go.
Yeah.
Mother was tapping her feet. Mother was tapping her foot, waiting.
Well, she also told the story, and I think Jim recorded it there, tapping her foot. And I was wondering, well, what was she doing? Did you try to run you off or what? She said, I didn't know how to take it. I didn't know if she was going to give us tips.
That sounds like Jerry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, before Patricia and Fred were married, everybody came to our house for the wedding. And Carol came and stayed with us on Whitehall Drive in Dallas, Texas.
Oh, wow. Forgot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember. There were a lot of stories to tell about that. But anyway, Carol was reading a book, No Man is an Island. And that's what she thought of Jerry. He was an island. He did not want to be a part of being married. He didn't.
He wanted to be alone, like John Donne.
I guess, but he did not. He wasn't interested in marriage, but Carol was very interested.
Yeah, and they
in-
definitely are great soulmates.
But it
They're
was a
awesome
very good
soulmates.
thing.
Yeah,
A
because
very good thing.
she is wonderful with him.
She's so
she takes
loyal.
such good care of our brother.
Yes,
She's-
absolutely,
It's true love there.
absolutely.
She's been so
So
good.
she needs all the encouragement that
Oh,
she can
definitely.
get
Oh, yeah.
and all the
That's
prayers.
what I tell her.
Yeah.
People
When-
forget
when-
about the caregiver.
I don't, not me.
No.
I'm in touch with them a lot.
Yeah, but I mean, in general, people don't remember or don't think about caregivers
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
how hard it is. But having gone through it, I know.
I do too.
That's right.
But
Yeah.
when you love the person you're taking care of,
Yeah.
well then that's an
24/7,
important thing.
Pat.
That's what makes it all possible.
I know
How
about a
long
love
before
story
T5
too,
were
is you and Ed.
taking care
Oh,
of
yeah.
her?
That was one of the
Yeah.
greatest love stories in the
That's
world.
The
right.
whole
6 years.
time?
Yeah.
Now, shall I tell about the story
But she wouldn't
about
tell
our
anybody.
wedding?
No,
It's a
she
very
wouldn't.
brief one.
No, nobody knew.
Yeah.
It was
No.
wartime. We were married in the evening because it's hard to get to church. And we had the reception at home.
Oh, yeah, you got to tell that.
And everybody prepared, my family all prepared something. And I ordered a cake. I mean, it was all very low key, but a great wedding.
It was a fun
Anyway,
reception, too.
Everybody was sitting around eating the little tidbits and whatever, and not the cake yet. But Larry came marching in from
wanted
the
to
kitchen.
help. Yeah.
And he wanted to be part of it. And how old were you? About
7?
4 or 5.
Somewhere between 4 and 7.
Anyway, he came in with a platter, a tray, and he had a whole bunch of crackers around a jar of peanut butter and a knife stuck in the peanut butter. And he passed it around.
Help
So everybody-
yourself.
So at our
What a
50th
guy.
wedding anniversary, I'm sitting in the living room, and in marches Larry with a jar of peanut butter on a tray with crackers around it and a knife stuck in it.
I must have been 57 then.
That's my boy.
And by the way, for those
Entertaining
that you
ever
don't
since.
know,
Yeah.
the family is a loaf of bread cut in nine
9
slices.
slices.
And this is the upper crust, and I'm the lower crust.
That's right.
And that's how we refer to each
And
other.
that's how we send our emails, lower crust and from the upper crust.
Yeah.
I even put it on the return envelope one day, and I wonder what the mailman
But he liked it.
he probably did.
Sure.
Can we hear stories about Uncle Tommy?
About
Oh, we
Tommy.
Tommy. Tommy
You went out of
was
order.
the most
You're
amazing guy.
Mechanical.
Tom?
Mechanical. He
he was
one day
Electronics.
the dryer, the washer broke down, and the repairman came, and Tommy knelt beside him, watching him fix things, and he said, "This is what you need to do here and here." The guy turned around, the mother, and he said, "You know, he's right." And he was just a little guy, and that's the way Tommy was. And
Always taking
Tommy
things
was.
apart.
He designed and
What do you remember
made
about
that
it, Jim?
A lot.
mobile thing, and took an old washing machine motor and put it on and ran up and down the alley
Oh, yeah.
with this go-kart.
He went out on the
And then he
the
went
highway.
out on the street, and the police hauled him back in because he didn't have a license.
Dad, was he an inspiration to you?
In a way, I guess. You know, I was always enamored by the things he did. Like, when he was 10 years old, he went to work at a local shop where they had radios and record players and stuff. And he worked with Spud Spargo. And he was 10 years old, working in the shop, repairing radios and record players.
Oh, and he was in his glory.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
sure.
he loved that.
And
Loved
he learned,
anything.
too. He learned.
So I guess if we're talking Tommy, then we got to get into the Cannon story, which
Oh my God, yeah.
he and his little buddy, F.A.
Kenny Light.
No, it wasn't Kenny Light. It was F.A.
No?
And I can't remember his last name, but it wasn't Kenny Light. Huh? How do you say that? Fratzer? Yeah. Okay. F.A. and the F.A. stood for fat butt.
Thanks for that information.
I just thought I'd help you out. But
FYI.
anyway, they snuck onto the fence to the DuPont powder plant, and I think FA stayed on the outside, but go in and find the bunkers where they were storing the powder, which would blow up every once in a while, and stole some black powder and brought it home and hid it in the
They
cellar.
didn't steal it. They took
They
protective
borrowed it.
custody over it.
Yeah, there you
So nobody would steal it.
That's it.
So what he did is then he made some cannons out of copper tubing and 2x4s, and we went down to the other end of Shell Road, past the gas station, and they were building the Presbyterian church there. I think it's Presbyterian, maybe Methodist. It's Presbyterian, okay. And he would be like a block away, and he would put his little ammunition in there and light the thing, and it would shoot this mortar up. And I was out there in the street directing it, go a little to the left, and we're putting the windows out of the new church.
How old
That's
was
Tommy.
he then?
I don't know how old he was.
He
I
was
don't-
10. About 8
No, he was
10.
older than that. No,
Older?
I think so.
Well,
I
old
don't know.
enough to know better.
I don't know.
Larry,
I apologize.
tell about the time that...
Well, I got finished because the
Oh,
police.
there's more?
Well, the part that I left out was, or the end of it was, when the police knocked on the door, they discovered, because I think FA told, and then so the police found out, and they came knocked on the door. Dad opened the door, and they said, "Gene, your son has hidden some dynamite down in your cellar." And my dad went berserk. He went ballistic because it could have blown up the house.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because we had a hard furnace there.
So that was Tommy.